So
Okay. So
what's been happening? What's a good thing? What's a good word for the week?
um the mine's more of a statement.
Okay. And your
No,
statement would be?
my statement is people need no, let me back that up. I'm making this up as we speak. The statement would be that politicians need to stay out of the fray of these ongoing issues with courts and court cases. They need to stop. There you go. That was a little bit, that was heavy-winded.
So
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we need congressmen and women or senators to not incite violence?
Well, that too. I would include that in that statement. Yeah,
I would totally agree with that.
I would put an addendum. Yeah, yeah, especially some of these. A couple of them this week. Just I was pulling. Well, I don't have too much hair, so I couldn't really pull anything. But they need to stop. They just need to stop. They need to calm down.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
It's a theory that I'm working on.
Okay,
and,
what's the theory?
So you know what we've been talking about, the globalists, the nationalists, that those two entities fighting each other, the war thing, right?
Yeah.
What if it's already been completed and we're just now really now finding out about it? Okay. And what I mean by that is, what if the nationalists already defeated the globalists? Some individuals have already been arrested. And this is a theory of mine. Just don't take it for gospel because it's a working theory.
Okay.
What if those folks that were caught? Remember, President Trump said, "I caught them all. I caught them all." Remember that quote?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what if he did? What if the military has already taken over to reinstate a new civilian authority? And this is what we call a confession tour.
A what tour?
Confession.
Oh, confession tour. Okay.
Uh-huh. So what I mean by that is, okay, say an individual has been detained or arrested or whatever word you want to use, okay? And they've been arrested for a major crime such as maybe treason or sedition or whatever, which the punishment for that is death by hanging, right? So that is the punishment for treason, okay? So
that's still a punishment, even this day and age?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's absolute. That's why you had the Jussie Smollett thing, along with Kamala Harris and Cory Booker at the same time, trying to put anti-lynching laws on the books, and we haven't used they haven't lynched anybody for 100 years, right?
Yeah,
so
but
again, why all of a sudden do we have this movement to put into place anti-lynching laws? We can get into that in a minute, but hear me out.
Okay.
So you have a choice now that you've been arrested or you've been detained or whatever the case is. You've been tried and you've been convicted. Okay. Now comes the punishment phase of it. So now let's make a deal. You want to live out your natural life behind bars? Or do you want to hang off the what do you call that? What do they call that apparatus?
Which apparatus?
The one where they hang people. The one where they hang people.
Yeah, well, yeah, the hangman's noose. That's.
Well, that's the noose. What's the big thing called? Gallows. No, that's not the gallows.
Yeah, the gallows, correct. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's gallows.
No.
Oh.
I thought the gallows were when they put you in the. Oh no, that was stockade or blockade. Stockade.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a gallows. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, what if your
place
choice
where people
is,
are hung? That's pretty much you'd make things simple.
Okay. So, what if your choice is you either show the American people what you were doing and what you were about to do, or you find yourself out back hanging on the gallows? If you do your confession tour, you'll live your life behind bars. You'll die with you'll live out your natural life. So it's just a theory I'm working on. I don't know if that's true or not, but it makes complete sense to me as to why things are the way they are today.
Okay. Well, I kind of understand why they're getting rid of those laws, though. I mean, they're antiquated. I mean, it's stuff
that the punishment for treason, that's not antiquated. If you're selling out your country to a foreign country, that's treason, and it is punishable by death by hanging. It's not antiquated. Should you be selling out your country?
Well, no, but I just think that our society is a little bit more has kind of moved forward.
Does it matter? Okay, does it matter how you go? Hanging, firing squad, lethal injection. Does it matter?
Again, even another thing that I think that what they need to kind of figure out is a different way.
A different way?
Yeah. Yeah, like lasers. Maybe a laser. Zap them out of existence. There's nothing left.
What is an absolute great deterrent?
Don't know.
Wouldn't it be a great deterrent of a public hanging?
No. I think that we're better than that. I really do. I think that we're way better than that. I think that we're more intelligent in the ways that we should pretty much make people pay for their sins in many regards. So, yeah, laser or maybe quicksand. I like quicksand, too. It's kind of a nifty way to go.
It's a little slower than hanging.
How about death by sending them in space and let them float with the Tesla? Maybe something like that.
Talk about a waste of space.
Well, they'll implode. It's compacting, so it's kind of saving space if you really think about it. I don't know. I just thought it was a good idea for a second, but I figured,
I'm just saying, what a waste of space. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
Well, I think that what we need is just the politicians need to stay out of these court cases and the deliberations and all these things. I mean, did you watch the deliberations in the that famous case as we know of, and what the judge and the lawyers talked about in regards to the one politician, and just they are in agreement too that they need to stay out of it. They all need to stay out of it. I'm so tired of hearing everything. Hold on. Let me just jump on this boat for just a second, so I can. I think I'm tired of everything that's happening right now being politicized. I think that it's just become too much. I think that we're as a society falling apart.
I totally understand where you're coming from, but I think what you have to understand. I think what you have to understand is that right now everything is amplified. Everything is political because of the major change that is taking place, and it's amplified for the people to actually see what could have been, or see where this country is going at this point in time and where it was. I think what you've seen directly abutted against one another was nationalism and globalism. So you had nationalism with capitalism right next to globalism with socialism. You're seeing those side by side.
That's a lot of isms.
Like better? Right.
No
Which
isms.
one do you like better?
I don't like isms. I don't think isms are very healthy.
You got to have some kind of ism.
Not really. Not if you take care of yourself.
Well, how do you? Well, they have medicinism for that too. So anyway,
yeah, vote them out. Get them out of office quickly.
Well,
send them away.
And you're right. You're right, bro. You're right. Here's what's happening is people are being exposed. People in our government are being exposed for who they truly are and what they've been truly doing to us, we the people. And that's where we're at today. And that's why everything is so amplified, is to wake the people up that still haven't seen it. Still believing in the mainstream media's line that they're feeding them. The manipulation that's been going on. Now, just remember back a short period of time when there was a gentleman that was in a leadership role that was accused of inciting violence, right? And now you have somebody that goes out and blatantly does it. What's going to happen? Right.
Well, and that's just another caveat to things that's been lately happening here, is that all this stuff that's happened, and like I said, these politicians need to stay out of this stuff. Even Trump and some of the stuff. I'll just bring that out for just a second. He just needed to stop at some point. He just doesn't know when to stop. And it's the same thing for these other politicians. They don't know when to stop. They don't know when they've reached their limit as to, hey, maybe my input isn't such a good thing in this situation, and I'll go home and I'll watch a new show. But
here's what you have. But here's what you have to understand. Without Trump
have I confused you?
No. Without Trump doing what he did, okay, you would not see what the globalists are doing. You wouldn't see it. Okay, say for example, we all know that there was some kind of event that happened on November 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. There was some sort of event that happened that is being questioned, right? And the questioning is still not over, and the cases have never been heard in the court system, right?
Oh, I know. I watched that link.
Okay, so they've been thrown. So they've been thrown out. They've been thrown out on processes, but not on evidence, right? Nobody's heard the evidence yet, except for one court in Michigan. So anyway, if that didn't happen, and that doesn't continue to happen, and say Trump actually won, we wouldn't know of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes at this point. Understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now, if that actually happened, if that is the truth that actually happened, that should concern every American, whether it's Democrat, Republican. It shouldn't matter.
I would agree with you on that. I mean, I do agree with you.
Everyone. Okay, so
yeah, no.
If it didn't happen, then open your stuff up and let me see it. If it did happen, open your stuff up and let me see it.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody wants to open the stuff up to let us see it. Therein lies a problem. So if you don't open it up to let us see it, what are you hiding? Right? What
I thought they did
hiding?
open everything.
No, everybody's fighting it from being opened. But the globalists are fighting it from being opened. It will be opened. They're not going to be able
what's
to
going to be open?
Well, they're going to do the audits. There's going to be some audits going on. Maricopa County, Arizona will be the Maricopa County. No, they've passed it, and the people that are guarding that information keeps stalling and keeps throwing wrenches in the process and won't allow it to be opened. But it's coming. Mm-hmm. It will be opened, and they'll be forced to open it up. Then we'll find out what's going on. Now, if the link that I sent you last night,
mm-hmm.
there's another one, but there was.
I'll be frankly honest.
Yeah,
I was just going to say
prior to it.
Yeah,
you need to watch as well. Right.
I it's so hard to watch.
Oh, it is hard to watch. I will give you that.
I fell asleep. I fell asleep. I took an hour nap. I did catch the last hour.
I'll give you that.
Just be honest.
It is hard to watch, but there's plenty of information there that makes you go, seriously, that's possible.
It was so circumstantial because
they're not circumstantial.
You can't see the proof.
Well, you can.
That's what the problem is.
You can see the proof. You can see the algorithm. Okay. The algorithm that the guy found. The guy from Ohio found. Right.
Yeah.
He put the same numbers in, and it's in every county in the state of Ohio. How does that happen? How does that happen? Unless the algorithm is set.
Now, I thought that was odd, but again, and I agree, but it's just like everything else that's been going on the last few years is that things, just even that, is so circumspect in regards to the numbers that they're saying that, that each one it was the same consistency in the bar graph. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so where's the backup person that backs this up as opposed to just the one person to kind of say, yeah, I checked his work, he's right, that type of thing. And having the utmost, I would say, what's the best word? To have, alongside the proof that they were saying that they were having, the My Pillow guy. Let's just,
Yeah.
I was looking for more, and I wanted something a little bit more ironclad,
Watch
to
the
say.
watch the first one and look at the MAC addresses and the where the information was moved to and from, and there's plenty of concrete evidence. It's not circumstantial. They have where the data was transferred to and from, what countries were involved. They have all of that information.
How is he going to get that to the Supreme Court, though? I mean, that's the key thing. I mean, they already bounced out the other things that were being put to them about the voting systems.
Because what he's doing is he's getting the information to the American people, right? The American people are going to send it and keep tuning in because he's got more and more proof that he's going to show, right? Supposedly, let's say it supposedly. Let's just say supposedly.
Right.
He's got more information that's going to come out, okay? More evidence, and he wants to get as many people that to see it as possible. And he's got a petition that he wants 150 million Americans to sign that gives the Supreme Court no choice but to hear the case.
Mm-hmm.
Remember,
okay, so that's how he's going to do
by
it.
the people.
Okay, so that's how he's going to go about it.
The American people have standing in this case because your vote was canceled and so was mine.
Well, we don't know that.
Allegedly.
Okay. I should probably do an intro here real quick because we started right off the bat.
Well, go ahead.
Show. Yeah. Well, I was just waiting for you to go. Okay. Well, welcome to What Do You Think? I am always thinking, and that's Trace Williams speaking as well. This is basically our time to kind of open up the channels for everybody to kind of start thinking and to give your input as well as to what everything that's going on. We try to cover the gambit. And then you can reach us or talk to us on the Facebook, search for What Do You Think, or tracewilliams.club. You can also find the social links there, and then go to Twitter, Instagram, MeWe, you name it, we're all over. And you can follow the podcast that's weekly, as well as our live podcast that we're doing here on Stereo. There you go.
Oh, very well.
Oh, I had new music too. You ready for this? I thought this would be great. Great intro. Wait, let me see what you think here. Here we go. Where is it?
Well, we have one listener. We'll get the opinion of the listener. How's that?
Okay. Here we go. There's the show entrance music. What do you think? No? Can you hear it? Probably can't. I need to learn how to pipe something in. I think I have an idea, actually, on how to get some of these things popped in. But anyway, okay, it was just the music. All right, never mind. Okay. But go ahead.
We'll talk about that one later.
I'm brainstorming at the same time. As you know, I'm always thinking. Go ahead.
Keep thinking.
I'm thinking. Thank God. Sometimes I don't know.
Keep thinking.
Some Saturday nights.
Anyway, so you gave me some homework.
It reminded
me. Remind you.
Yeah.
How about the Georgia Guidestones?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That intrigued you, didn't it? That intrigued you, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, have you done any more research on it?
Well, no. It was above board. Told you what it was, and to let you know that it actually existed, and
okay,
the brief history.
So, let's start with R.C. Christian. He was the gentleman that went in and put the order in.
Yeah.
Paid the let me get it right. The Elberton Granite Company to place to do the writings. 8 languages, and they are the main languages used in the world today. And
we're talking, this was back in the 80s when this was done.
This was ordered in 1979. It was shown for the first time in 1980. It was set in 1980, and they had some type of celebration to unveil it, so to speak. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so R.C. Christian, keep that name in mind, and I'll tell you what I found out so far, which was fictitious, but I'll tell you the meaning that I got from behind it here in just a couple of seconds. And then you have a gentleman named Wyatt Martin.
Okay. Before you go into the names, why don't we kind of describe what the Guidestones are a little bit more, so that whomever's listening can go look at look at them on Wikipedia actually into the history. So, what do the Guidestones say?
What do they say? I don't have it pulled up, but what it is.
Well, it's an apocalyptic.
It is definitely an apocalyptic thing.
Yep. And say that 20 times.
It is. Say it once.
Okay, that's true.
Anyway, what it tells you is how to restart humanity after an apocalyptic event. Okay. So what they were saying is that there was an apocalyptic event that would coincide with the end of the Mayan calendar, and the Rosicrucian Christian belief, and that was supposed to happen December 21st of 2012, somewhere around there.
Uh-huh.
Now, there was a gentleman that showed a map of after this cataclysmic event. That's easier to say. Cataclysmic event that showed the United States after the fact. What was surprising to me is, if you did any studies on Planet X or Nibiru and how it was supposed to go around the Earth and change the pole shift, make the poles shift, which actually moved the Earth, the Navy map and this guy's map match up identically, where it shows Washington, Oregon, California, some of Nevada and Arizona underwater, shows the Mississippi River widening out, putting some of the Midwest underwater, shows the southern tip of Florida underwater, some of the East Coast and northern New York underwater. What these guidestones were to be is it was to show how to restart humanity. I set my phone down again. I shouldn't do that. It was how to restart humanity after this cataclysmic event, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was talking about more self-awareness and getting it, using your mind to expanding its usages, everything from basically what it was getting in touch with yourself and being not taking God out of the equation, but being in touch with yourself, being able to self-awareness, the fifth dimension, the quantum stuff, okay? Self-awareness. Okay. So they were talking about being able to, when it comes down to it, being able to use telekinesis, was being able to use manipulation or mind control of things, and not necessarily used to mind control somebody else, but yourself. And if I pull up, let me see if I can pull up the 10 things it says.
Which are odd.
Okay, some people claim that it's evil. Other people claim that it's not. Now, R.C. Christian is said to stand for Rosicrucian Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And let me give you a few things about the Rosicrucian Christians. You ever heard of them?
Yeah, I just don't remember exactly everything about them, but why don't you get back to the names?
Well, because this is kind of important. Rosicrucian, member of a worldwide brotherhood claiming to possess esoteric wisdom handed down from ancient times. The name derives from the order symbol arose on a cross, which is similar to the family coat of arms of Martin Luther. Well, there's a piece of information that I did not. That's the first time I've seen that.
Martin Luther King?
No, Martin Luther, who was the head of the leader. He was the leader of the Protestant movement.
Oh, okay.
He was why you have the movement away from the Catholic religion, and that's how your Lutheranism came to be. And then every other offshoot of religion, of Christianity, let's put it that way, is a Protestant movement. Protestant, the root word is protest, and it was protest against the Catholic religion because their belief was the Catholic religion was full of blasphemy. In the Catholic religion, their own writing, their own doctrine is that the Pope is Christ on earth and that you are to confess your sins to the Father of the Catholic diocese, right? And he is your intercessor between you and God, right? When it's actually, the Bible says that your intercessor between you and God is Jesus, not Father John James Paul Jr. Joseph Heimer Schmidt, right?
Okay.
Your intercessor, I don't know him either, and I won't, because I won't confess my sins to a priest of the Catholic diocese, because the Bible tells you that your intercessor is Jesus. He's the one that you go to get to God, right? So anyway, with that being said, according to the Rosicrucians, they were forced underground because the Catholics were killing people that didn't follow the Catholic order back in the day, right? So, and that's historical, right? We know that. So they were forced underground. So that's why it's a secret religion, but they are based on the self-awareness. Let's see where else to go with this. This Wyatt Martin was the banker that actually met R.C. Christian and helped with the financing of the project. This Edgar Casey was an American clairvoyant who claimed uniquely to channel his own higher self. Casey's channeling sessions happened in a trance state that he would induce with help from his friend Al Lane or his wife, until later in life when he became accustomed enough to do this on his own.
So this involves Edward Casey? Okay.
Yes, because he is a major part of the Rosicrucian Christians. Okay. And their belief in alchemy. Edgar Casey, who came to be known as the Sleeping Prophet, was a Sunday school teacher and a member of the Disciples of Christ Church. Despite his outward Christian identity in his early life, Casey was open to occult practices. That is according to Christian Answers for the New Age. I already read you the Wikipedia one. Well, let's get the one up from edgarcasey.org. He lived from 1877 to 1945, has been called the Sleeping Prophet, the father of holistic medicine, and the most documented psychic of the 20th century. Casey was born on a farm in Hopkinsville, Kentucky in 1877, and his psychic abilities began to appear as early as his childhood.
Yeah, but what's this have to do with the Guidestones?
Well, again, Edward Casey, part of the Rosicrucian Christians, is behind what they claim to be behind the Georgia Guidestones. Now, I'm trying to pull up the Georgia Guidestones to tell you what it says.
So you think Edward Casey was behind the stones?
No.
Okay.
Whoever R.C. Christian was a Rosicrucian Christian. R.C. Christian.
Okay.
Rosicrucian. Okay. So you have to understand what you have to understand what the Rosicrucians were all about in order to understand what is meant on the Guidestones themselves. Make sense?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
All right. I'm trying.
I guess you went down the rabbit hole, didn't you?
Trying to do two things at once. Yeah, and it's still fresh, so forgive me if I'm forgetting a couple of things here. And
I'll just try to keep things moving along.
Well, that's fine. Okay. Let me click on this to see if it gives me exactly what it says on the Guidestones. All right. The message of the Georgia Guidestones. Number 1. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Number 2, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Number 3, unite humanity with a living new language. Number 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Number 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Number 6, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Number 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Number 8, balance
Hey,
personal
sounds like our
rights
government.
balance personal rights with social duties. Number 9, prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. And number 10, be not a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature, leave room for nature. So those were written in, let's see if they give me the languages here. Like I said, there were 8 languages.
Yep, I went over last week too. So
do we have any comments?
no comments. Hey, if you want to chime in, let us know. If you want to change the conversation, let us know. If there's something you want to talk about, let us know. How's that?
There you go.
Last week we were busy. Dang.
In the summer of 1907, a man calling himself R.C. Christian came into Alberton in search of both a granite firm to execute his design for a monument and a suitable site for the construction of it. He claimed to represent a small group of loyal Americans who had been planning the installation of an unusually large and complex stone monument. The man admitted that Christian was a pseudonym, and while he was obliged to reveal his identity or an identity to the local bank manager, this was under condition of absolute confidentiality. To this day, Christian's real name and the true identity of his organization, described by him as a small group of loyal Americans, are unknown. The guide stones were unveiled 22nd of March, 1980. Ownership of the land and monument was soon transferred to Elbert County, which still holds it.
Which is strange in itself. The whole thing's strange.
Well, depends on how far you want to go with it there, AT.
I wonder if there's any Polaroids of these people that were there along with Christensen.
Actually,
I want to know what this guy looks like.
I'll do you one better. Let me, for those of you who want to look into it for yourself, I just did a couple of videos that are available on YouTube, actually. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that one. That was kind of a silly one, but I started with Brad Meltzer's Decoded from the History Channel on the Georgia Stonehenge. Okay. The full episode is 44 minutes and 16 seconds long. Use your own discernment, folks, when you look at it, when you watch it. But there is some information in there to unpack, that's for sure. So, again, don't take my word for anything. You're listening to one man's opinion, and do your own research. That's the whole point of our podcast here. We throw out
also,
information.
It's on Unsolved Mysteries, too. They did it, I think, 2 times with Robert Stack doing it originally, and then they redid it again, I think, when they brought it back that second time in Lifetime. And they had some new information and stuff at that time that, well, it's pretty much what we've been kind of covering as well. Some of the things that they were discussing on that whole weird thing. I just want to know who and what, where, and how. But that's a mystery. We shall never know. So, going on a different... What were you going to say?
Where was I at?
Well, we were talking about the Guidestones. I was about to segue.
Why were you about to segue? There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack in this thing.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Okay.
What are you bored with it already? All right. So now let me take you a step farther. Let me take you a step farther. Okay.
Hey.
So now with the map that I explained to you.
Mm-hmm. What math? Was it
the map?
Oh, okay.
Map. Okay. So with the map that I explained to you, do you know what age we're in now?
Well, it's not the Aquarius. It's not that.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Maybe a Libra. I'm a Libra. Maybe that'd be a nice age. Go ahead.
No, actually, we're in the. Let me preface it by asking you this biblically. Jesus was talking about the end of what? He was talking about the end of an age, was he not? He was talking about the end of an age. Okay. So here we are sitting at the end of an age, which is Pisces. Now we're supposed to stay away from astrology, but we're not supposed to stay away from astronomy. And there's a difference between the two.
Okay.
It is a fish. That's right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So,
wonder how the Pisces tastes.
What is the sign of the Christian?
No idea.
It's a fish.
Okay.
Okay, that's the sign of a Christian. You'll notice, excuse me, if you're driving down the road, you notice on the back of somebody's car they got a little fish insignia.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I've seen those.
Okay, so that is, he's a Bible believing Christian. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, according to astronomy, about every 2150 years comes a new age. We are now leaving the age of Pisces and moving into Aquarius. What is Aquarius all about? What's the sign of Aquarius? Water.
Okay.
And it's a man holding, what do they call that? An urn of some sort, okay, full of water with a yoke, and it represents healing and wrath, both. So you'll have the healing of the water and also the wrath of the water, which, again, I am still going down these paths, okay?
Okay.
Still going down these paths.
I guess I really got you stuck on something.
Alchemy is very important to the Rosicrucian movement.
Same for the Masons too, correct?
Alchemy?
Mm-hmm.
Well, alchemy is, depending on how you look at it, according to a definition, which I looked up alchemy. And alchemy, now I'm taking you down a rabbit hole, okay? So just bear with me because I'm going to get to the point.
Hurry!
So alchemy is, according to Britannica, alchemy, a form of speculative thought that, among other aims, tried to transform base metals such as lead or copper into silver or gold, and to discover a cure for disease and a way of extending life. It was not conclusively disproved by scientific evidence until the 19th century. the 19th century would be the 1800s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alchemy, according to Merriam-Webster, the dictionary, a medieval chemical science and speculative philosophy aiming to achieve the transmutation of the base metals into gold, the discovery of a universal cure for disease, and the discovery of a means of indefinitely prolonging life. Okay? So that's your definitions of alchemy. Now, you ready to go for a ride here?
Okay.
I'm gonna take you to a place where let's go to UFOs. What do you know about them?
I think that the videos that they released here lately were interesting.
And you've had experience, right? You've had your.
Oh yeah.
You've had your.
Right? Multiple times. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now I'm looking at all of these things, and I am brought back. What do you know about? If you know about UFOs, what do you know about, say, extraterrestrials?
Well, there's more than one.
What do you know about them?
Well, they sure don't. They don't wear hats.
To give me. Well, no. Seriously. Give me what you know about them, because I'm taking you someplace. At.
Okay.
I'm taking you someplace. Well, go with me here. Go with me.
Well,
here.
I don't know how much is the tickets. No. Basically, it's a matter of what we know or what we think that we know, which we don't know much, is that there could be several different types, and they're from another planet or another dimension, possibly, or they could be from a different time.
Okay. So as we're going into this age of Aquarius, what is the big word being used today? It's a financial system. It's a physics. It's a oh man, it describes a lot. Do you know what word I'm looking for?
Nope.
Do you know? Nope.
I don't. No,
How about quantum?
No.
How about quantum,
you mean quantum physics? Okay.
How about the quantum computing? How about a quantum financial system? How about a McQuantum cheeseburger from McQuantum McDonald's? Quantum is being a big word thrown around right now, right?
Okay.
Now let's go back to I believe it was 1969. There was a musical that was put out. Okay, the musical was called Hair.
Mm-hmm.
The song that came out of Hair that was very popular was done by the Fifth Dimension. The song was called Age of Aquarius.
Uh-huh.
Coincidence?
I'm familiar.
Coincidence?
I don't know where the coincidence is.
Here's the background story. Well, if we're moving in from Pisces to the age of Aquarius, right? And in 1969, they're singing the song Age of Aquarius and Let the Sun Shine In. They're singing, it's a medley of two songs right there. Okay? They're singing about that in 1969. Actually, it was released by the Fifth Dimension, I believe, in let's say 1970, 1972, but the movie was released in 1979. Hair. Okay. And there were, in my opinion, kind of a cheesy movie, but it was about one guy trying to do. He was against the Vietnam War, but he always tried to do good for a gentleman that he had met that came from another state who was on his way to the Vietnam War. Anyway, this guy's goodness eventually sent him. He was against the Vietnam War and he was protesting against it, but his goodness to his friend ultimately put him in the Vietnam War, left the friend out, and he was ultimately killed in the Vietnam War. The irony of the story was pretty fascinating, and it was the love that this guy had for his fellow man that he did these favors that put him in line to go to war and be killed in the Vietnam War. But anyway, how did they? Now the backstory of the song, how the Fifth Dimension supposedly got the song, is the lead singer from the Fifth Dimension was carrying a suitcase and he was on the subway in New York, and he just happened to be on the subway in New York with cast members of the musical Hair, stage musical Hair.
Okay.
Well, supposedly this guy forgot his briefcase on the subway, and one of the cast members from Hair picked it up, called him, invited him down to the show to give him his suitcase or give him his briefcase back. And he sat in the audience and watched the movie, heard the song, and wanted to do the song. What are the odds that a group called the Fifth Dimension showed up at the musical Hair to do the song Age of Aquarius? And we're moving into that age right now and talking about quantum physics, quantum computing, quantum financial systems in the Fifth Dimension. What are the odds?
I don't know. Star Trek level?
Pretty much, right? Now, what do you know about the Anunnaki?
Well, they were a civilization that lived a very, very long time ago. They were supposed to be esteemed beings, too. If I remember right, they were supposed to be esteemed beings, a little bit more enlightened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and what did they need? What were they looking for? Have you ever done any research on them at all?
No, not that I remember. It's been a while. We do have somebody put a note. We have a message.
Well, let's play the message.
Okay, we'll play the message.
Nigger, 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 nigger.
And that's why we have stop. So.
Well, that shows some intelligence right there. You know,
that's true.
That leads me to another quick story. I was looking from about 10,000 feet, looking down, and I seen this little tiny garden. As I got closer, it grew a little bit larger, but not much. But this whole field around it was huge. Well, that garden was intelligence. The weeds around it was nothing but stupid. So anyway,
we got another message.
Anyway,
let's see. Hopefully it's actual message. Here we go. Oh, this is interesting.
What an ass.
Okay.
Well, I hope I described it a little nicer than you, but yes, I have to agree. So anyway,
yeah.
So here's what the Anunnaki were looking for, according to some research.
Was it the Holy Grail?
Is
No. Okay, that's a
they were
little
looking,
bit before that.
they were looking for gold, AT.
Okay.
And the reason they were looking for gold is because it prolonged their life.
Okay.
Okay. So how does that tie in with the Georgia Guidestones?
I don't know.
Going back to the Rosicrucian Christians, the alchemy trying to turn all the metals into gold.
Okay.
Okay. So is there truth? My question is there truth to the Anunnaki theory? Is there truth that the Anunnaki was able to time travel?
That could have been
Did they come from
Stargate.
another planet? Could it have been Stargate? There was also something that came out. What country was it? Under the pyramids, there was supposedly, what pyramid was it? Supposedly some kind of portal. I can't remember where I seen it and what it was called. But it was some kind of
You
portal
mean the Sphinx?
that there were supposed gods and people that came in and out of this portal. And to this day, I don't think you're allowed to get close to this pyramid. And it's under this portal supposedly is in a tunnel underground. And I can't remember where it's at. I wish I could. But again, this is all new research to me. So bear with me on my. And I don't know if our listener has anything to add to that or not. Obviously, he's still with us, and but I don't see anything popping up yet. So
no,
but anyway,
not yet. Yeah.
So I'm taking you and I'm challenging you now, AT, to do your own research to see how many dots you can connect to either prove or disprove this theory that I'm working on.
Okay.
And how it correlates now. I'm gonna bring it full circle here.
Okay, I was hoping.
What does any of this have to do with what's going on today in our society?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us?
Well, could there be? You brought up something a couple of weeks ago. I think you brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Was it what book was it? Wasn't it you that said something about Barron Trump and Pence in a book written in? Wasn't it you? It was written in 1900. I think it was the Travels of Barron Trump.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
I think is what it was. Does that have anything to do with the age of Aquarius and the age of Pisces moving from one to another? The fifth dimension, quantum physics. Remember the show Quantum Leap?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now I'm going to tie this to one more thing. According to a few sources, of which unfortunately I can't remember, but the United States has 870 let's say vessels that can be used in outer space. And I believe they're owned by the Navy. The United States military has them. And we're 10 years ahead of any other country in our Space Force.
Okay.
I have to do a little more research on it. So now we put into this
You're
mix.
breaking up.
Oh, I left my phone again. You gotta stay on me, bud. Put your phone in your pocket. Put your phone in your pocket, buddy.
I'm keeping on you. We got another question here. Let's see what this is. Oh, okay, here's Chris again.
It was written in the late 1800s, and it was Chronicles of the Time Traveler. And it had Barron Trump, Donald Trump, and Pence in it, which is a very long time ago. And why would that be known about over 100 years ago?
Well, there you have it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we put all of this together, what's really going on today? That's my question to you, AT. And there's your homework for the week.
Well,
Take your
what's
hour.
really going on today?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just like even what we were talking about before with the beginning of the Guidestones, I mean, we know that the planet is already in a shift. So, we're looking at a possible issue with, just that. So, with the polars, the polar shift and everything else. So, that's one good thing to look forward to. And we're behind. Should have happened, actually.
We're behind this shift happening?
Yeah, I think it was with the polar. Not polar.
How are we possibly behind the shift?
Yeah, it's the pole shift.
Yeah, this might sound. Let me.
Yep.
Let me sound a little ridiculous here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's line up every car in the world. Every car. And on this side of the world, they would be going east to west. On the other side of the world, they'd be going west to east. And everybody peels out. Can we spin the earth faster?
Probably not.
Probably not. So how do we have anything to do with the polar shift?
Well, it's not us; it's the planet. It's a natural process that it goes through. I think it was 22,000 years.
I thought, how many?
I think it was 22,000 years from the last report. I was trying to find the latest report, what they were talking about with the shifting of
Well, let me ask you this.
the magnetic poles.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah,
Just a quick question. If we're going into Aquarius, what number age is that?
What number what?
What number age is that?
I have no idea.
Pisces. Pisces is it's a third.
Okay.
It's the third age, right? And if the ages happen every 21 or 150 years, is this the second time through, third time through? Is this how many times would it take to have the Earth be 22,000 years old or whatever, or millions of years, or however long they think it was?
billions of years.
Billions
But
of
the
years.
last shift that we went through for the Earth's magnetic fields, and it was temporary. So it goes off. It makes these changes temporarily every so often, where north was south and magnetic south was north. It was 41,000 years ago. They found evidence in Australia. This was reported in, well, actually, this is what I'm looking at is Tech 2. But yeah, 41,000 years ago. But we are due for another incident, and they're seeing signs of that. So, which doesn't bode well for us, by the way.
Well, let me look something else up, and I'm sure this will fascinate.
Yeah, I think maybe we need to move to Australia. I'm game.
Let's
Although they're
see. Let's see this. Oh, okay. Nibiru, the 12th planet, the Nephilim, and the creation of. This is just a website I'm going to, and I'll tell you
Okay.
what website it is in a minute. But it's kind of amazing that I just pulled this up. Let's see, when was from ancient Sumerian texts, there was a description that our creators came from a yet discovered planet that enters our solar system every 3,600 years. How many years ago did we see the last polar shift?
The evidence shows 44,000.
44,000.
Yeah, years ago. And then this temporary shift is going to be, from what I remember from the other report, which I do remember that it was this interim time that this happens. They're thinking it's going to be 100 years. So, well, they're thinking that is what also cleared out the dinosaurs, not what the present thinking that we have, that it possibly could have been the shift that caused this, which is an interesting thought.
But how did the giants on the land get fossilized in the mountains? Okay, from ancient Sumerian texts, there's a description that our creators came from a yet discovered planet that enters our solar system over every 3,600 years. The text said that they were known as the Nephilim, and that they had colonized Earth over 400,000 years ago. The Bible also mentions this race and calls them sons of God. The planet of Nibiru was suffering as its atmosphere was eroding. They came to Earth in order to mine minerals, gold, to help repair their atmosphere. This was done in the Middle East and is why we find the Great Pyramid and adjacent pyramids, and along with constellations in our solar system. They created portals on Earth, highly magnetic areas, to send their minerals back to Nibiru.
Theorized as Planet X as well.
Theorized as Planet X as well. And it has a far different orbital pattern than the rest of our planets. And there was another thing that I watched that showed, and I can't remember what it is either. I should take notes. I should take better notes, JT. There was another show that I started to watch that showed the planets as gods, and I believe it was, I forget which one it was. I'll have to do some more. I'll have to do some more study, unless our listener can help us out on this. Where the planet hit the mother of the gods and created debris. What was the name of that? What was the name of that? I just watched it too. I can't remember the name of it.
You're in territory that I don't know.
Oh, I thought you was the space expert, AT.
Well, to some
Darn it.
degree. God.
I was trying to. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to connect dots, and you're going to help me. Because I'm sure
I'm better at word finds.
I'm sure that we can get from there to here and put all of the dots together and explain what's going on and nail it every step of the way.
This should have been called the Guidestones episode.
Hey, you know what? You don't want me to talk about something, don't ask me to research it, okay?
No, I just joke with you. So
I will research it. I'll research it until I find what I think is the answer.
okay.
And then I will present what I find as my opinion. And what do I ask you to do? I ask you, don't trust me. Please don't trust me. Will you please do your own research?
Well, of course, you know.
Don't rely. If you rely on me, like people rely on mainstream media,
Our media, yeah.
then I'm no different than they are. Is that not correct?
I will say though, NBC News was hitting the Biden presidency on the border issues today, and they actually were not sugarcoating. I was kind of impressed by that. But anyway, I digress. Go ahead. So where are these dots that we need to connect?
Does that bring us back to Now, the mainstream media has been complicit in this whole thing since 1946, and Operation Mockingbird, Project Paperclip, and MK Ultra prior to that. Okay, so the mainstream media has been manipulating all along, right? So it brings me back to my theory, my other working theory, that when Donald Trump said, "I caught them all," as he already brought the media down, and now it's time for their confessional tour. Are they, in their own sense, confessing to what they've done by now slamming the administration for the crisis at the border? Because up until now, there was no crisis at the border.
Yeah, it was
Right?
wording. Yeah, there's no, but these are not the droids. It's
These are not the droids you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, brings me around to my theory that these people have been caught. They're on their confession tour right now, and we will find out soon enough that these people have been caught.
That sounds like a podcast episode. The confession tour.
I'm telling you, AT. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with there was an episode of the X-Files. Let me see if I can find that in my history. There was an episode in the X-Files that actually explained exactly what is going on today. I mean, exactly. Let me look in my history.
I
to
have
see
all
if
seasons.
it
Let
is
me know.
there. Let me take a look at my history.
I wrote that down for the podcast title. I thought that was pretty good.
What's that?
Oh, confession tour. I think that would be good for you to do a podcast on that.
Well, that might be one of my next writings here too. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
let me try it. So in the meantime, why don't you tell all our listeners how to get a hold of us, how to check out our podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to tell it right this time.
Please.
You can reach us at facebook.com/TraceWilliams.club. And you can reach us at TraceWilliams.club itself. And MeWe, you can find us as What Do You Think? And multiple Instagram, What Do You Think? And multiple other ways. So you'll find everything on TraceWilliams.club and the links to the different places. Along with that, if you go to the Facebook page, additionally, it's all the linkings to the podcast and everything on the different social media platforms are listed there as well. I digress.
You always seem to digress.
I know, I'm digressing today. It's been one of those days.
You always seem to digress, AT.
I back off.
So do you have anything while I'm looking for this? Do you have anything to add to the discussion, or?
Well, I had something that I was going to just kind of throw out that you might want to check into. Is article that was released. It wasn't just Fox News. I saw it on several different news agencies. Pfizer has confirmed that the COVID vaccines that have been found in Mexico and Poland are black market, and they're counterfeit. So, not a good thing. What even possesses, I guess maybe they're back, they still don't have enough vaccines in those countries yet. So I probably could see why there's a black market and people are trying to buy the vaccines. I don't know. People are crazy. But I found that today quite interesting turn of events, which is kind of sad though at the same time. But we have a message.
Natural reaction.
Uh-huh.
Good. Well, let me give my natural reaction here real quick. My natural reaction to that is potentially a globalist move to again scare the people into maybe not taking the vaccine. That way they can keep the people at home a little bit longer in order to move their agenda forward. That would be my initial reaction. You ask me why everything is political, and that's because everything typically is. Some Joe Schmo off the street did not develop a black market vaccine.
I don't know. Well, it doesn't work. It's it's bogus. So.
Okay, so they have something to blame it. They have something. The globalists have something to say about. Okay, the vaccine doesn't work. We got to keep you at home a little bit longer because the spread of the COVID is going to increase. And but what that does then is that gives them an opportunity to continue to move their agenda forward. And that's just an off the cuff reaction to what you just said.
Right,
I'm not saying that's true or that's not true. It's just my natural opinion, natural reaction.
Well, get this.
Because everything has an agenda. There's an agenda behind just about everything that's going on today.
Get this, they're selling for $1,000 a shot, and what actually is in them is anti-wrinkle substance as the ingredient. As an ingredient. These people are crazy. All right, let's listen to what Chris has to say.
Yes, check your text messages.
Okay.
Well,
Always remember there are no coincidences.
That's right. There are no coincidences.
I don't know.
There are no coincidences.
I don't know. Karma's been very active in my life, so I don't know. I don't know about that.
What episode is that? I'll have to find that episode for you, but there's an episode of the X-Files that, I mean, it just describes exactly what we're going through today.
Do you remember what season?
Verbatim. Mm-mm.
No.
No. Okay. So let's do this. Okay, the first thing we have here. Ingersoll Lockwood and two more Barron Trump novels. Deluxe Illustrated Travels and Adventures of Little Barron Trump and his wonderful dog Bulger. Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. 1900 or The Last President. Check into those. Let's go here.
Sounds like Dr.
Lockwood published the first novel, Travels and Adventures of Little Barron Trump and his wonderful dog Bulger in 1889, and it's a sequel to Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey in 1893. Oh, its sequel was the last one. The novels recount the adventures of the German boy Wilhelm Heinrich Sebastian von Trump, who goes by Barron Trump as he discovers weird underground civilizations, offends the natives, flees from his entanglements with local women, and repeats this pattern until arriving back home at Castle Trump.
Or
and that's
Mar-a-Lago.
back in 1889, 1893.
We got a message
the novels
from,
were part of.
hold on, we got a message from Time to Shine. Let's play this here.
I'm kind of a little bit up in the air about if I want to take the vaccine or if I choose not to take the vaccine. I hear that the side effects are just as worse as the actual virus has been, and that it depends on the immune system. And I'm the type of person who's kind of conspiracy theorist when it comes to politics and it comes to religion and a lot of other stuff. You know, I'm really on the fence about a lot of stuff that really goes on because I know that it's more to what meets the eye, and you know, people are just going to allow you to see what they want you to see. So I'm just a little skeptical when it comes to taking the vaccine.
Well, here's what I have to say about that.
Can I add something first?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I've had it. I had the vaccine. I've had both. I did have some reactions to it. I had the Pfizer, and you know, I from everything that I've seen from the people around me that have all had their shots, it's more so the reactions aren't as bad as COVID. It's not as serious as what some of these people are putting out that I've seen from my view, from my perspective. I had a time with it. I was down for a day, you know, or 2 days. But other than that, though, definitely.
Let me stop you there and let me jump in.
All right, you go ahead.
Of course, we're not medical experts. So
no, of course.
Whether you take them, here's the beautiful thing is
You
that
have a
we all
choice.
have a choice, and the important part remains we have a choice. So in order for
Exactly.
you to decide whether or not to take the virus, that is totally up to you. But I would recommend, I'm one that, and don't take my advice on this. I'm one that you're not sticking me with anything. But the beautiful part of our country is we have the choice to make that decision, right?
And
And it's up
I
to
think
you
that
whether or not, hold on, it's up to you whether or not you take that vaccine. If you decide to do so, good luck. If you decide not to do so, good luck. I can't give you an, we're not here to make that decision for you. We're here to point
Definitely
out that it is your choice, and it should remain your choice. And as long as our government doesn't mandate it, and we still have that choice, we still have a country. Once it becomes a mandate, or you can't travel without it, now we have a problem. But the bigger picture is, what is the effects of having the choice to take the vaccine or not having a choice? That's where the big question lies. So it's up to you whether you take it or not. And I hope you do your own research. Be very diligent when you look, keep an open mind, and make sure you look at the ingredients. And if the ingredients look harmful, then by all means make your decision. If they don't look harmful to you, then base your decision upon that. And that's the best we can do for you with that. I'm not going to go off on conspiracy theories. The choice is yours. And as long as the choice is yours, we still have a country.
And that's what that's what gives us like our banter back and forth and things that we discuss. You know, I come from a different perspective as opposed to you, and we kind of work that out as we discuss some of these different things. And sometimes some people will call fringe concepts. But other than that, Chris had some things that he wanted to say too.
If you're looking for an opinion, ma'am, my opinion would be that you do not take the vaccine. It has not been tested long enough to show enough side effects or long-term effects. And that is just an opinion.
Okay.
Well, thank you for sharing your opinion. Again, this is a show to get you to do your own critical thinking and to don't be the sheep, be the shepherd. Do your own research, keep your open mind, and don't let anybody tell you what is good for you.
True.
And as long as you're not hurting anyone else, live your life. And that's pretty much the best I can tell you with that. Again, the choice is up to you. I hope that helps you. You had, 3 separate opinions, all based on experience or research and constitutionalism. So, hope that helps.
Hey, I wanted you to kind of think about something. Something
Okay.
for you to kind of start following, because I think it's actually really odd. Are you familiar with the crash with the doctor this week?
What do you mean the crash with the doctor this week? What are you talking about?
There was a fatal
maybe I'm not.
crash. Yeah, no, I'll break it down. There was a fatal crash that happened this week with this one doctor And then a passenger. Well, that's about where I'm going to delve into. It was a fatal Tesla crash. The crash was so it was fiery. They're saying that the batteries and stuff caused this fire to go into a huge giant blaze. Both people didn't survive. Elon came back with additional information in regards to the car because the Tesla cars, they are very connected so that they can, do upgrades and all those other things. What the weird thing about this situation is this doctor is as an anesthesiologist, and he was a lot of people. He's like a senior vice president. No, okay, it was just that. I was trying to read here real quick too. But it took 30,000 gallons of water to put out the blaze of this car. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. But there's some strange things that they've found here. Okay. And that the car and the two people that were in it, neither of them were driving. Neither of them were driving. Now, the vehicle had an autopilot option, but from
So it was a self-driving?
Well, but it wasn't set up to be. I mean, it wasn't turned on, is what the weird thing is. Data logs so far showed the autopilot was not enabled, and this car also did not purchase the FSD, which is the full self-driving software. And moreover, the standard autopilot also requires lane lines to turn on, which this street didn't have any. So these two people were not driving this vehicle, and this car did not have anything turned on. So that kind of starts to make you wonder, what's going on here in this situation? What really happened?
So my first question would be, to get to the bottom of it, is who was the doctor and what did he stand for, and who was the other passenger?
They haven't really talked about that.
Stand for? Okay, and they may not, because
it's weird. You'll have to
they
look it
may
up.
not. I will look it up.
Yeah.
Again, first reaction without knowing anything about it other than what you just told me.
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to know what the doctor stood for. I want to know what his position was, his political position, and if he was one that was talking about maybe vaccines or therapeutics. Which side of the fence was he on? If the C-19 would have anything to do with it.
And it was two guys. William Varner is the anesthesiologist, and Everett Talbot.
And where was this accident?
This accident, quote unquote, at this point, happened. Where did it happen here? Hold on here. Local authorities. This was a Tesla S car too. This is 2019. Give me a second. Yeah, just hit. So Woodlands Medical Center. Houston. Yep, Houston. Yep, Houston.
I would have to do a little more. Who was Talbot? What was
This is I just saw too. He's a 69-year-old engineer and was a friend of Varner's. Huh. Interesting.
So my questions are this. Did the doctor have a stance one way or another on the C-19? The engineer, did he happen to work for Tesla?
Those are questions that I don't know.
Is somebody trying to make the Tesla vehicle look bad? And if it's 30,000 gallons of water to put it out, I don't know that. I don't know what the burn temperature of acid is, battery acid.
Those batteries can
burn.
Yeah, those batteries can burn, but
well, sure they can burn.
But the
issue
here,
even in, is it neither one we're driving?
Yeah,
things that make you go, Just remember, there are no coincidences.
Because I mean, even let's see, some of the people who tweeted said it doesn't make sense.
Well,
let's safety measures.
Let's see what the narrative is that comes out.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
Let's see what the narrative. Okay, so let's wait for the narrative, and then we'll try and figure out what happened as we get more information.
Yeah. But here's something that somebody said.
Here's my problem. Here's my problem, AT. Is that get your computer out of my car, because anything that goes online can be hacked. Correct? All right. So get your computer out of my car and let me drive, because I have the right to do so, right?
Yeah.
Unlike horses, I don't have the right to drive a horse. I have the right to ride one, but I drive one. Anyway, there's a joke in there somewhere.
Well, that joke was from last week, so. That the one guy kept going back to every message.
Yeah. So anyway, get your computer out of my car. I don't want you having access to. I don't want anybody having access to my gas pedal, my braking system, my steering. No, thank you. I trust myself more than I trust artificial intelligence or somebody else having the capability to hack my car. Get out of my car. And not to mention, if there's a computer on my car, guess what? They know how fast I drive, where I drive, when I drive there. It's another data collection point. At what point do we as an American people say, get out of my life? It's my life, not yours. Get out of it. At what point? Right? Because all of that data is collected. All of it. Every bit of it.
Well, all data is collected, especially for something like that, because they've got to make sure.
Well, how much of your personal life do you? How much of your personal life, AT, do you? Do you want to?
You know that answer. Most of my data is shared. I already know that. I've accepted that fact for years. I also make sure that I get paid for my data in one way, shape, or form.
So you accepted it. You get paid for it. I didn't. I don't. And I won't. Okay? Again, get your TV with your camera out of my house. Give me a choice to get a TV that can go online, that you're not looking at my living room. Get out of my laptop computer, get out of my camera and my microphone. Get out of my cell phone. You have no business being there. None. Stay out of my car.
Oh, message.
Dr. Varner also specializes in cardiovascular disease.
Okay.
Cardiovascular disease. He's an anesthesiologist, so he definitely knows how the medicine is going to react in the body. And I would be willing to bet you he had an opinion on the COVID. Let me do this. What was his go back here. Let me do a search.
What are you looking for?
Hold on.
Okay.
I will tell you here in just a second. What was his first name?
Which person?
What was
The
Varner.
William. Yeah,
Varner.
William Varner and Everett Talbot.
I just want to know who Varner is first.
See, this. No one was in the driver's seat when the car swerved out the road and hit a tree. I've been for the past 2 days asking myself all the oddities in this situation.
Holy crap.
What?
Well, I am looking here at a picture of the remains of the car.
Yo, yeah, no, I know. It's totally burnt. It took crisp. Totally.
Was this a total electric vehicle?
Oh, yeah. It's the S. It's the Tesla Model S car, yes.
Wow. Okay, let me go back here and do this search again.
I thought you might find this interesting because that's what I was saying. Just the whole thing surrounding this is, it smelled for me. I'm like, okay, I'm not too sure about this. I've seen a couple cars, EVs, even a race car one that was tested on it was the race show on Amazon with the guys from Top Gear when they went and switched over to Amazon. The one car that I think wasn't Jeremy. They were driving was an EV race car, and it pulled off the side of the road, and it did catch fire. I mean, there is that potential. But I mean, this is like, oh my God, it's wow. There has to be something else that
caused that
made this.
heat.
Yeah, this is weird because I've never seen any Tesla issues like this ever before, and it's why it made such a huge report. Well, with the odd things too. I mean, I'm just, were they alive when it happened? I mean,
It's a good question. That's why I'm kind of looking up this doctor to see what he's all about. And the only thing I see at this point are the news coverages of the crash worked at Memorial Hermann Hospital. In Houston. Yeah, I don't see anything. But it's not to say that it wasn't pulled down. I don't see anything where he come out with an opinion or anything on a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But that's not
I don't know.
He's not on a BitChute or whatever, right? So we'll have to research him. But I'll tell you what, the picture of that vehicle there is that is some pretty intense heat.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if a battery would cause that. But
I mean, the batteries, are flammable, but we got a message.
Interesting as that one of the occupants was in the passenger seat front and one of the occupants was in the passenger seat rear.
Yep, that's why I said this is weird. When you're driving, even with the technology on, you have to be in the driver's side seat to help guide and everything. So that's why this is really, really strange.
Well, AT, let me explain it to you this way. I once seen a guy had 21 stab wounds in his back. It was the worst case of suicide I ever seen in my life.
Okay. That's not good.
Yeah, go ponder that, okay? So, again, we're going to have to wait to see what the narrative is out of it, because there's a federal investigation going on into the Tesla car.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what this federal investigation brings out, and we'll get some more information. Then we can probably make a little more informed opinion
it's not the car.
on it.
It's not
what
the
happened.
Car. Yeah, I firmly believe it's not the car. Just too many weird things in that whole situation.
Right.
Yeah, sure. There's been some issues with the autopilot to some degree, but not anything that this it just smells. It doesn't smell like battery acid. That's for sure. No way. Here's another Chris message.
This will be the 5th investigation by the NTSB.
On Tesla?
Yeah, on Tesla. And they've done on the autopilot and everything, but I firmly don't believe
it's the 5th one since when? Here, let's get an important. Obviously, we have someone looking some information up.
Okay.
It's the 5th. It's the 5th one, and how long against Tesla?
It's probably 2-3 years.
When was the first?
Probably when they first started doing the autopilot technology. Probably 2017, maybe. Yeah, let me see here.
And just to preface what I'm talking about, it's just my opinion, but first reaction of hearing the story and my initial thoughts. So, just an opinion.
No, understood.
So just want to get that out there.
Yeah, I just with them with no one behind the wheel in this car, it just smells. It doesn't sound correct at all. So that's all I'll say. But there's been 23 Tesla crashes, 3 from recent weeks. This was dated. Oh, this was March 18th, 2021.
3 in recent weeks. This was number 4. So now hear me out. So Elon Musk is behind Tesla, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Elon Musk is behind, is it SpaceX?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is that what he's got? Okay. So he's behind SpaceX. SpaceX is behind what? What did they put in the air? God, was it a whole bunch of satellites that they put in space?
Yeah, you've got the internet system that Tesla set up, and that's actually going pretty good so far. That they've done an excellent job.
Let me ask you this, Techie.
Or
is it based on 5G or is it based on the new technology?
New technology.
Or it's based on the new technology, not 5G, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, who is behind 5G?
Well, the original creators. I don't know offhand. Where are you reaching?
China and the globalists.
Okay.
China and the globalists.
I figured you were heading that direction.
Okay.
We have one message. We have a message. Real quick. Let me play this real quick. Hold your thought.
You know what, man? You're right, bro. Something's fishy about that story. Because I thought that if you're in the Tesla and it doesn't read your eyesight and a couple of other things, it'll automatically stop the car, does all that stuff and pulls you over and whatnot. But who's to say they didn't just get over in the seat when it happened, or something? I don't know. It smells fishy. What's up, guys? Never seen y'all before. Just hopping in random rooms. I'm Stereotype. Nice to meet y'all.
Nice to meet you, Stereotype. Welcome to the room where we talk about anything and everything, and the whole key of the program is to get you to critically think on your own, which it sounds like you are, and to again be the shepherd, not the sheep, right? So do your own research. Get off of the mainstream media. Don't believe what we tell you, whatever we tell you, whatever we say on this platform. Please do your own research. And it always comes down to, hey, what do you think? So, with all of that being said, let me try and connect some dots. Just again, an initial reaction just hearing about this. So you have Tesla putting up the satellites with the new technology. The globalists are behind the 5G. Are we trying to make Tesla look bad, make Elon Musk look bad in order to discredit his achievements with the autonomous car, the satellite system, which the satellite system is being used as a monitor on the globalist cabal? So, again, are there coincidences? I don't think so.
We got Stereotype again. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man. Always do your own research. You can even take stuff from the mainstream but pick it apart and get down to the bottom of it. Don't just take their word for it. Let that be the hint to go look into it on your own if you really want to at least talk about it. You know what I mean? Or pontificate. What is it? Trying to be educated, sound and shit. I'm on here. What's up? Anyway. Yeah, man. I always do it like that anyway. But yeah, that's why I stayed in here listening to y'all. So let's see where this goes.
Well, pontunic, that big word you used,
pontoon,
pontificate it. That's for sure. Again, if you do look at the mainstream media, you're looking at typically, obviously, you have to use your own discernment to try and divulge what's truth and what's lies. But typically, if they're pushing an agenda, look in the mirror. Right, reverse what they're telling you to actually find the truth. And any great lie any great lie has some semblance of truth to it in order to further promote the lie, correct? And remember, any big lie repeated over and over and over again somehow becomes the truth. And again, that comes from Operation Mockingbird, Project Paperclip, MK Ultra. Start your research there and look to see what's happening today. I can't emphasize that enough. So, but yeah, something does stink. I agree with it.
You were taking it way further than I was going to. I was taking the whole situation as a face value of, hey, this is weird. So you went down the road.
AT, and that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem we as an American people suffer from. We take one situation, look at the micro picture, and forget the macro. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have anything to do with X, Y, or Z. Well, in order to get to X, Y, Z, you have to go through A, B, and C, D, and the rest of the alphabet, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dots connect. The dots connect, and you have to connect them, and you have to go through. As I told you a week or two ago, whatever. Every event is just another arrow out of the quiver in the battle for the victory of the war, right, on either side. So every event has meaning. And you have to look at the big picture in order to understand the little picture. Right? And so many of us don't look at the big picture. We look at that one little situation and go, okay, something stinks. Okay, well, if it stinks, find out why it stinks.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the questions, and use your critical thinking. Get emotion out of it. Use your critical thinking in order to either you have a theory, either prove it or disprove it with your research. You go into the research with your open mind, right?
Yeah.
So, and when somebody tells me they don't have time to research, well, you got time to sit and watch a football game on Sunday, don't you? You got time to sit and watch a basketball game on Wednesday. You got time to sit and watch a baseball game on Tuesday. The thing is that we need to make the time to do the research, and we won't get in this position again as a country, as we the people, or globally, right? So that's the whole point. Do your own research. Ask the questions, and don't be afraid to ask the questions.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to. Stereotype has another message here. Can we go ahead and play it?
Sure.
Okay.
I assume it's Tracy, but that's who Trace is. He gets it down to the minimum trace of evidence and breaks it down. Going back in the archives, you can't find this information anymore, guys. Try to find it on YouTube. These videos are gone. Oh, yeah. There's shit out there you don't even know. Shit that'll make you piss your pants, kids. No, I'm seriously like, I'm so like it. You know, MK Ultra down to like UFO, like it's a mixture of all kind of things, bro. Like you really think things like Knights of the Templar, like that was real? You think they just disappeared one day? Like, come on, man. Like it's a new time, new era, man. It's just interesting, you know. But I like this shit. I like it.
Well, stereotype. Go back to the Jesuits. Go back to the Jesuits and actually, I say this quite a bit. You can take this back to the first recorded war in history. Take it back to the first recorded war in history, And now I'm going to get a little. I'm not going to say religious on you, but we're in a battle of good versus evil right now. Globalists, nationalists. It's good versus evil. Take it back to, you can go all the way back to the first recorded war in history. And Brian, AT, what is it? What's the first recorded war in history?
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me? No, that was pretty clever. Pretty clever, AT. First recorded war in history wasn't it Michael versus Lucifer? Good versus evil, right? And that's
Gotcha.
what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing played out today. It's a good versus evil. So again, connect all the dots. Keep going back. Keep digging. Eventually, Alice gets to Wonderland. Right? You find the answer. The Wizard of Oz. You find the man behind the machine. Right? So dig deep. Find the answers. You'll get them.
Got another message from Stereotype Studios.
Nice one, always thinking. Yes, got him. That was a good one right there, man. Hello. Let's go.
I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Welcome to the show, brother. The dots are incredible. If you like I said, get off the micro, get onto the macro, take each micro as it comes, and take it back as far as you can take it, and you'll be surprised how many dots you can connect. It's amazing.
Well, that's the same thing. Have you ever watched the show on History Channel that deals with the island in on the Canada side up by Michigan area?
I'm going to be honest with you. No, I don't watch. I personally don't watch the TV. I don't watch movies anymore. I have a hard time getting away from the music, but I don't listen to the new music. Music. And strictly because of the agenda that's being pushed. But if you go back in time and you watch shows of yesteryear, okay, if you go back into the 70s and 80s, there is a lot of information that was presented in those TV shows that actually tell you what's going on today. Like I was telling you, there was an episode of the X-Files that, it just describes exactly what's going on today.
Give me the,
and I'll have to find out. I'll find out what episode that is.
But real quick though, just so that we don't veer off real quick, it's called the show to watch though, because it talks about Knights Templar and a host of different things that may have been pretty much the precursor to our history of what we know as history or been told or whatever else. On Oak Island, they have been for the past few years trying to figure out if there's anything there in regards to gold or many other things, but definitely check it out. Oak Island is definitely got a history because if you go and look at some of the people that have went to that island to search for treasure, you'll find that it has quite a history itself, the island, but literally they are finding a lot of different things that are leading towards that there have been people here a lot longer than what we realize. Just even, the cross that they found, the lead is from a mine in France, but we're talking 1400s, 1500s, somewhere about there. So a lot of stuff, but it ties in with Knights Templar and a host of other things that they. There's so many different conspiracies and ideas around it. It's just pretty awesome. It's kind of fun show, but they've been digging and digging and digging. They've been finding all kinds of stuff. So, but quite interesting show. So in case you want to dig into that at some point, Tracy. So
yeah, I'll give it a look.
Yeah.
See, I don't watch much. Well, like I said, but like the History Channel, whose history is it? What agenda are they pushing? Right.
That's true. Oh, and the whole thing around it surrounds what has been phrased as the money pit. So that I've actually followed it even before the show. I knew about the money pit years ago from watching it on In Search Of. Actually, I think even had an episode and multiple other shows. So, but yeah, definitely interesting. Definitely interesting.
Right.
It could be the precursor of us finally finding proof that we have been here longer and than what everyone's thought or wants to portray. And
well, I think there's some more truth that's about to be exposed. That's been hidden from us for quite some time, which is where we started this. AT is back at the Georgia Guidestones, and how deep from there I took you. Okay. Actually, do your research on that. So go ahead and play the message. That's fine.
Okay.
Mr. Always Thinking, how you doing? Trace Williams, how you doing, guys? I'm in a stairwell, hence the echo, and I just wanted to chime in. I heard you talk about, a little historical, I guess, our views on history and how little that we know, because we're discovering new things right now that is just opening a world of information. And my recent studies, just on a personal level, I started analyzing and just studying the First Nations here in Canada, the Americas, and their migration, and even deeper, and I know a lot of people don't think about this, but the North Pole, when the temperatures were not, it wasn't frozen, it was similar, it had seasons, and they had vast civilizations there that I'm only realizing right now, people are discovering. So very interesting, guys, very interesting.
Cool.
Well, it's cool that you mentioned the North Pole. But think of it this way: remember those tops that you had to handle, that you pushed up and down, and the top spun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember those? Okay.
Yeah.
What happened when those spun? What happened? Did they not weeble back and forth a little bit?
Mine didn't.
Yes, it did. So the way the Earth rotates and the way it actually weebles on its axis, isn't that going to automatically give us a pole shift? Even in a pole shift of 2 degrees to the sun, to the reference to the sun, isn't that going to change the climate of, say, the North Pole? Just a question, throwing it out there. What do you think?
Well, yeah, of course. And they even have said that when this next shift comes for the polar change, that like the eastern United States area is actually, we're going to be able to see it'll be like the Northern Lights. And then
we already see them. They're already here.
Well, but what I'm saying though is that everything that we know as of like the Northern Lights, seeing that the polar cap and everything, it's going to be completely changed. But yeah.
So that brings me to the next question. What is climate change all about? Is it because we have the flatulence of a cow? Really? Or is it natural in a pole shift? And climate change is a way for somebody to make an awful lot of money.
See,
up to you to decide. Do the research.
I will say that
and
there is some climate change. I think that we have had an effect. I'm not saying that we've had a profound effect, but we've definitely, with the Amazon and the demolishing that we have had of the rainforest there, have affected things to some degree. Not saying that it's everything, but it could have some play, and you know, with all everything that they've done and looked at with that, definitely it's something that is a travesty. But go ahead.
Well, doesn't it make more sense if the Earth wobbles on its axis?
Well, it does.
That you're going to get climate change.
I mean, the Earth does go through a renewing periodically. I mean, that's just natural. Oh, we got two.
So, brings me back to the question: is climate change, as the way it's being presented to us, is it because we drive a car versus a bicycle? Is it that one nation tries to get to zero emissions while the rest of the world doesn't worry about it? They only claim to worry about it. So is it about the money, or is it about the actual climate change itself?
Well, good question.
Just throwing it out there.
And we have two messages.
I know. Okay, I know what my answer is, but I want you to do your own research.
Okay.
Well, my answer is climate. My answer is climate change is a way for the globalists to make money. That's exactly what it is, and another scare tactic, another fear that they put in the people of the world in order to conform to their rules and regulations. And when you have that many rules and regulations, when it comes to business, what do? You tend to squash an economy, and you create a bigger divide between the regular people and what we consider the globalist elites. And see, then we put too much emphasis and fear in these globalist elites. And the whole fact of the matter is we're more powerful than they are because we have the numbers. We have numbers. Power is in numbers, not a title. Power is in numbers, not in money. So let's do our research so we can actually figure out what we can stand up and fight for. And I'm not talking about picking up physical guns and fighting, but unless need be. So, okay, go ahead and play the messages.
Okay, well, I was just going to offer up a different perspective on that, because you have to think that maybe possibly the scientists are right, that we are in a created situation from human beings on this planet, causing the sea of change that we're seeing, that the polar ice caps are melting to the detriment of watching a couple islands disappear, to the point that these situations that we have created, that this cabal, or whatever you want to call them, is seeing that as a way of making an opportunity profitable. So it could be that maybe it does exist. However, they're using it as a way to profit from. Just a thought.
Okay, so let me fight that. Let me fight that. Let me combat that real quick.
All right.
Let me give you the other side. So global warming was all of a sudden turned into global cooling because the temperature actually went down, right? The average temperature actually went down. So they couldn't call it global warming anymore. So now what do they refer to it as?
It's climate change,
Climate change.
Yeah.
So, again, trying to push an agenda, a narrative, in order to let's create a chaotic moment so we can give you a resolution to it. And that's how the cabal works. we're going to give you a crisis, and then we're going to show you how to fix it. Well, I know how to fix it. Don't give me the crisis. Right? Don't put the crisis out there and then tell me how to fix it. Because your crisis
What if there's
is
a crisis?
fake anyway. But the crisis is it's climate change due to a wobble on the of the Earth. And all it takes is a degree or two in order to create climate change.
But what if we're helping
Right.
this along
Whether it be-
way too fast?
There's too many scientists have debunked it. And if you have if you have a group of scientists that are talking about, listen, use your logic, get your emotion out of it, and use your logic. I'm going to ask you a question. If somebody's telling you that, hey, this, how do I put it? Well, let's just use the Earth, for example. Let's just use this climate change. The Earth is getting warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer, and things are melting. It's getting warmer. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, crap. It just cooled down. Now what do we do? Our global warming is gone, right? And you have too many scientists out there that has debunked the global warming due to the emissions on a car. So you have both sides of it. Which side's accurate? Which side makes more sense? The side of nature moving on its axis makes more sense to me.
I think it's ducks
And if
farting.
something doesn't, well, no, it's cows.
Along with the cows, there's ducks too.
Well, then we need to get rid of the cows and the ducks, and we'll all be fine, right?
Yeah,
Play
probably.
the comments.
Okay.
You know what? You know what? We're back in the conversation about climate change. I started thinking about that as well. I'm thinking, well, you know what? The Earth is doing its own thing. We are a bunch of we just think that, okay, no, we're the ones that are changing it, but no. I think the Earth is just doing what it's supposed to. And we're thinking, yeah, we're affecting the environment, yes, but not on a scale that would change, the way the world, the Earth is changing. I think it's just going through the cycles. And we're saying, hey, no, guys, we're doing this and that. We got to stop it. And I'm thinking, no, you know what? We would have done that anyways. We're just maybe speeding it up a little bit, but not that much. I think that's a lie. I don't know.
Well, I tend to agree, but I also look at it this way. I also look at it globalists versus nationalists. So what is the globalist agenda? Is to create crisis so they can put the fear in you, so they can control. It's all about control. It's all about, let me tell you what you're going to do. Well, no. How about, you ain't no different than I am. How about, let me tell you what I'm going to do. You're not telling me what I'm going to do.
Did you see
Right.
that
And again,
situation? Go ahead.
Enlighten what situation? What are you talking about?
Oh, Putin. What he said today. As well,
Which part?
is he one of the
which part?
globalists? I mean, or where does Putin play in? Because
I think right now, my personal opinion on my research, based upon my research, is that Putin right now is part of a show. And I think I told you last week that the next event, or over the weekend, I don't know if I told you or not, but I called the next event is the next event was supposed to be about the climate. Well, that was foiled. So the new event that was to come out was a nuclear threat. And lo and behold, here it is, a few days later. So, again, takes me back to my theory. Are we on a confessional tour?
Mm-hmm.
This is what life could be. Right?
Well, I want to talk about. Let me bring up Chris's messages here real quick. So hold on here before we go off tangent.
Could the demolishing of the Amazon just be another way to try and get people to think that we really have climate change and that the Earth is not just doing what it naturally does over a span of thousands of years?
No.
Well, and I think that's the point. I think you as again, doing my research, do your own. But I think that all of these, there are no coincidences. And I think if you create a crisis, never let a crisis go to waste. You create a crisis or a call it a crisis, so I can give you the solution, right? And if I as a globalist would create a crisis and then give you the solution, I therefore control you and what you do and what you think, which gives me ultimate control over the masses, right? And me personally, that's what I think is going on.
Yeah, but with the Amazon,
So-
we've created that situation, though. We have demolished that. Well,
Well,
not
that-
humans.
well-
Speaking humans.
What tree did you cut down?
Well, it's the Brazilians and all the other interested parties that are over there for gold and
Who-
multiple other
but who are
things.
the
First,
interested-
it was trees,
but who
and
are
then
the-
gold.
But who is in search of it? Who is behind it? They?
Well,
Are
yeah,
they behind it?
no, they're not.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
it's multiple
If-
different things.
If they are behind it, define they. Who are they? Because
Well, you
hear
got the
that all time.
Chinese that have been in
They did this,
South
They
America.
did that. They did it.
Mhm.
Okay. Who are the Chinese?
I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with the amount of resources that they have been raping and pillaging these countries and paying them minuscule dollars in regards to the amount of gold that they've been ripping out.
Answer my question. Who
Yeah,
is
okay.
the CCP? Who is the CCP? What side are
Well,
they
that's
on?
Russia. No, I mean they're on the same side as Chinese.
No, the CCP is the Chinese,
Oh, okay, yeah, but still,
right? Okay, the CCP is the Chinese Communist Party. That's what CCP stands for.
okay,
Right.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so what side are they on? Are they the globalists or are they the nationalists?
They're on their own side.
No, they're not.
Okay. Yeah.
The CCP is a deep state globalist party. They're about one world and one world order, new world order, and dominance. Okay? That's what they're about. Controlling the world. That makes them globalists. Now, that's not saying that the Chinese people themselves are for that, but the Chinese Communist Party is. Why do you think the World Health Organization and the World Trade Organization treats them so special? Because the World
True.
Trade Organization and the World Health Organization are globalist entities pushing a globalist agenda. Look at the macro, not the micro. So,
True.
is there truth to a globalist movement creating an issue in the Amazon or a perceived crisis in the Amazon to give you the resolve to further control you, because now they can regulate what's going on in each country in the world?
No, I don't think it's a perceived crisis. I think there is actually a crisis. But Chris has got two other messages he sent, so I wanted to play those real quick.
To your point that power is in numbers and not in title, obviously goes to the point of the founding fathers making a critical mistake in our Constitution by putting term limits on presidents, but not term limits on congressmen and senators. Power is in numbers, so you're going to limit the president to 8 years, but a congressman or a senator can be in power for 48 years. Makes absolutely positively no sense when there's, 500 of them and one president.
Sounds like our conversation from last week.
Well, I mean, it's because it's a huge deal.
Agreed.
I can't emphasize to you enough how big this issue is. And everybody just wants to look at this little thing and say, "Oh, we need to fix that." Well, that's not the case. The case is we have a small group of people that is controlling a vast part of this world, and they're doing it through a perceived crisis and a resolve. They're doing it through the manipulation of money. They're doing it through the manipulation of people's minds, of brainwashing. Look with the mainstream media. That's the problem. It's bigger than.
I'm not arguing you on that. I agree.
It's bigger than the Chinese going in and digging for gold. It's bigger than that. That's just one aspect of it. Like I told you before, instead of just focused on that single lane, open your eyes to the entire map. Right? Open your eyes to the entire map. Quit looking at just the lane that you're in. You have to take the big picture into account. And then you take all the little things and connect the dots. Because the dots are there to be connected. And look at the documentation behind it. And make time to do the research. Make time. It's so important. Research is important.
Well, let me play this other message by Chris here real quick. There's something that I wanted to kind of take us to, something real quick that I wanted to kind of talk about. That's kind of scary to think about if you look at some of the precursors that are arising here. So let me hear.
Is the demolition of the Amazon rainforest on purpose, my friend, on purpose to create
that's what I'm saying.
The narrative of global warming or climate change?
That's exactly what I'm saying, is that the globalists, who knows, the globalist movement may be behind, they create the crisis and then give you the result. And so it's an intentional thing in order to promote the climate narrative, in order to create the regulations to control the people, and also bring in the billions of dollars of taxpayer money into these organizations that ends up in the pockets of these global elitists. Listen, you don't become worth $40 million by making $170,000 a year. You don't do it.
Okay. Let me throw something out to you here. Something to kind of think about. This could take a while. But like I said, I was talking about Putin and the words that he had to say in regards to his encroaching on Ukraine was telling the West today that Moscow's response will be quick and tough, and he will make the culprits bitterly sorry for their action. So those words, along with the other things that are happening with, well, and let's just kind of put it out here, today's news. You've got Alexei Navalny. Have you been following him and his situation? Okay. So you have also 1,000 people being arrested in the rallies in Russia today because the supporters for Alexei, and his plight and being in jail, along with the things that are happening in Ukraine and along the border there in Russia. Also announcing that they are putting up their own space station by 2025, and a host of other things that are kind of been popping up in the last few days. The scary thing to see about this is would the globalists or anyone allow for us to be pushed to the brink of World War III with Russia and China because of some of these instances, the things that we're seeing here that are coming about, unfolding within the past few weeks. It's kind of scary to think about. Yep. We could be on you know what I'm saying, but go ahead.
Let me answer that for you.
Sure. That's
the Ukraine was a deep state stronghold. Okay. You have a certain leader and a son of that certain leader that is tied directly to Ukraine. They actually have land in the Ukraine. What's next to their land in the Ukraine? There's tunnels. Okay? The tunnels are being used allegedly for trafficking. What are they trafficking? Weapons? Drugs? Humans? All being trafficked through these tunnels. Well, a certain leader and his son own property right outside of those tunnels. Now, when Trump became president, he took a world tour. And President Trump did a first in almost every nation that he visited. During a king's ceremony in Saudi Arabia, Trump held the king's sword. Nobody does it. When he went to China, he went to what's it called, the forbidden
city.
City.
Yeah,
Trump went there.
City.
Only president to do it. When Trump went to South Korea, and he stepped across the border and shook the hand of Kim Jong-un. No president's ever done it.
I think Nixon visited the Forbidden City, if I remember right.
I think Trump was the first one that did. So you can fact check that, but I believe he is the first one that did.
I'm doing it right now.
So what I'm saying is also he developed a relationship with Putin. Now, my feeling is that Putin, Kim Jong-un, the new leadership of Saudi Arabia, Xi Jinping, are all working together to bring down the globalist cabal. What you're seeing today is a show on what could actually be in order to wake up the vast majority of people, not only in this country, but in the world, to actually see the new world that is coming. And when I say the new world that is coming, it's going to be a world without the central banking system. Huh? What's that?
Oh, I didn't say anything. I was a stupid advertisement on the page. Go ahead.
Okay. So you have the globalists that are either have already been taken down or are in the process of being taken down, and you have a new world that's about to show its face that is all about nationalism. Our country takes care of our own. Their country takes care of their own. That doesn't mean that we don't trade with each other and anything like that, right? It just means that we all live by our own set of laws, right? We don't live under one set of world law based on communism and socialism. So the nuclear threat is to wake people up to show exactly what we could be living in. And I do not believe that our military is going to let anything happen. I think Putin is showing a sign of force, but not only is he showing a sign of force, he's showing a sign of weakness in Biden. Right? That's the key. That's the goal, to show the weakness of the man we have as our leader today. And he's being proven weak in everything he attempts to do globally. Showing the people that the globalist movement is over. Done. Game over. Thank you for playing. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, again, don't believe me. Do your own research.
But you didn't really answer, though, in regards, do you think that it could be the potential or the match?
I did answer you.
Lights World War
III. I think
III.
you're watching. No, we're already in World War III. Okay? And that's what I've been trying to tell you. We're already in World War III. But it's not World War III like you would think it is. World War III is a globalist movement versus a nationalist movement. And that's a nationalist movement worldwide. Remember when Putin fired his whole government and started a new one, right?
Hmm.
And he's going to base it more on democracy than he is communism. What's that tell you? And you have all these leaders, when Biden goes and says, hey, we want you to do this, we want you to do this, and the leaders say, no, I think we'll do it Trump's way. What's that tell you?
We shall see. Chris has one more message here I wanted to play too.
Okay.
They created the COVID. They gave you the mask. They gave you the vaccination. They gave you the lockdown. They gave you all of the control that they could muster that they thought everybody would bow down to, and they just keep on playing the card. It's not over yet. People are still wearing masks. Absolutely ludicrous. People are driving down the street with a mask on in their car by themselves. They're walking down the street by themselves in the sun in the middle of the day with a mask on. How much more are people going to take before they realize it is just a ploy to control you, to hold you hostage to their money?
Exactly right. In my opinion, that's exactly right. And well, let me ask you this. AT, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then we're going to have to call it a night here. I'm going to ask you
Understood.
one more question.
Yeah, I was just about to.
How many incidences, let me see if I can phrase this in a way where we don't get thrown off any platform right away. How many incidences have there been multiple deaths due to a fired projectile? How many were under the Trump administration? And how many have been under the Biden administration? And
Well, that's a good question.
What agenda is being pushed by both?
Good question.
Well, give me an answer.
I don't know. But you were right about Trump in the Forbidden City. So just to make that quick note.
Cool. It's not about being right, Brian. It's really not about being right.
Oh, no. I was just saying.
Yeah, it's about look at the big picture. Look at the big picture, and you just made my point for me. When I ask you, what do you think? It's important for you to think, and it's important for you to think what you think. But it's more important to know why you think what you think.
True.
Do you think what you think because somebody told you what to think? Or do you think what you think because you found the answer on your own and found the documentation to prove it? Either way, one way or the other. It's more important to know why you think what you think. Because if you find the documentation, you're either going to prove what you thought all this time was wrong, or you're going to find that what you thought all this time was right. But the whole point is, now you know why you think what you think. That's what's important.
Good point.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you have to know what you believe, and you have to know why you believe it. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, you can fall for just about anything, right?
How's that microwave working?
It's heating up my. It's for those of you who care. It's heating up my chicken real good.
Chris left the message. Let me play this.
Knowledge is king. Research is mandatory. A must. If nothing else but to keep your sanity so that you know what is going on around you in the world. Keep eyes wide open and don't think that this is just about the United States. This is about a big world game of communist control, period.
And don't watch the movie Eyes Wide Shut. There we go, kids.
Well, actually, that's what the government wants. That's what the globalists want you to do, is go through this life with your eyes wide shut.
Well,
now, I'm gonna give you just a little more homework. And really, seriously, AT, I want you to look this up, and I want you to now maybe I don't. Yeah, I do actually. I do. Do we have nanotechnology, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Is it possible to take that nanotechnology and inject it into the human body?
No. We don't have that capability yet.
You don't think?
No.
Do some research on it. Do some research on it. Dig deep.
ID
Big
tags
deal.
and those types of things, that technology, yeah, it's definitely, we've got a lot of that, with, the different driver's license and all that jazz going on. But yeah.
Well, I'm asking you, you answered a question, but
Mm-hmm.
you didn't dig deep to do the research. So now you know what you think, but do you know why you think it? So what I'm asking you to do is go in and do a little research to find out why you think what you think.
Okay.
Okay? So there's your homework for the week. You got any for me?
Well, just keep watching this Tesla thing. Also, the Putin situation.
Well, I'd do that, and I think I got a handle on the Putin situation, but I'll keep an eye on it too. Trust me on that. But
he's got his finger on the trigger.
Anyway, I think that was a CJM that came up. Was that it? He's been with us all night.
Yep.
So thanks for listening. Appreciate it. I am Trace Williams, and this is Always Thinking, and this is a podcast. What do you think? And the objective is to get you to use your critical thinking, do your research, figure out why you think what you think, and don't let anybody tell you any different. Documentation is the way to go. And by all means, AT, get out of the lane, look at the map. Why don't you tell them how to get a hold of us?
Yeah, you can get a hold of us at tracewilliams.club. Contact us at facebook.com/tracewilliams.club. You can reach us out at MeWe or any of the other social media outlets. Just look for What Do You Think? And besides that, yeah, that's pretty much it for now.
And as far as it goes, that's Always Thinking. I'm Trace Williams. Thank you for joining us. God bless, and have a good night, everybody.
Good night.